What if the world laughed at you? Until one moment reminded them who you truly are. They handed a mop-wielding single dad a basketball as a joke. But when he took the shot, silence fell. Not because he missed, but because they had no idea who they were mocking. This story will hit you right in the heart. Before we begin, tell us where in the world are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. The gym echoed with laughter as boys in crisp jerseys bounced basketballs off polished floors. The elite country club's court was their playground, clean, quiet, off-limits to most. That's when they saw him, Leo. Mid-40s, janitor's uniform, mop in hand. He was just finishing up when one of the teens shouted, "Hey, old man, wanna take a shot?" Laughter exploded. Everyone turned. It was meant to be a joke. Leo paused, eyes flicking toward the hoop, then back to the mop. For a second, it looked like he might walk away. But then he handed the mop to a younger staffer, walked to the free throw line, and without a word, picked up the ball. What happened next turned laughter into silence. But before that moment arrived, you'd need to know what brought Leo here. The story doesn't start on that court. It starts years earlier, with a man who had lost everything but love for his son, and a quiet promise that one day, he'd rise again. Leo hadn't always been invisible. Once, he was a name whispered in college gyms, a rising talent with smooth footwork and a near-perfect jump shot. But life doesn't care for talent when tragedy strikes. At 24, Leo's girlfriend died suddenly in childbirth. He dropped out, took up night shifts, and raised their son, Milo, alone. No grandparents, no fallback, just diapers, daycares, and double shifts. Basketball? That belonged to a different life. He traded courts for cleaning supplies, sneakers for steel-toed boots. He never complained. Milo needed love, not excuses. He read to him at night, made boxed mac and cheese like it was gourmet, and showed up at every school play, even when he hadn't slept. Milo didn't grow up with much, but he had everything that mattered. And Leo? He tucked away dreams under the weight of survival, quietly, willingly, and with everything he had. Sometimes late at night, when Milo had gone to sleep, Leo would unlock the old gym down the street, the one he now cleaned. He'd sweep the court, let the silence settle, and just shoot, one after another. The rhythm came back like muscle memory. Swish, bounce, release. His jump was slower, knees stiffer, but the form was still there. He never told Milo. Felt like a secret. Not shameful, just sacred. His body remembered what his life no longer allowed. Every shot wasn't about the past. It was about breath, stillness, the only space where Leo felt like himself again. A man, not a mop. A father, yes, but also a player who once believed he could be something more. And even though the world had stopped watching, the rim still listened. When Leo got the janitor job at Eastridge Athletic Club, it paid better than the school district and came with night shifts, perfect for being around when Milo returned from class. The place was high-end, full of rich kids and semi-pro coaches. Milo hated it. "They look at you like dirt," he once said. Leo only smiled. "Let them," he replied. "I'm here to clean floors, not their opinions." What no one knew was that Leo watched every practice. He memorized drills. He knew who could shoot and who just talked. He stayed invisible until the day someone handed him a basketball as a joke. A moment that wasn't supposed to mean anything, but would change everything. When Leo held the ball that day, it felt heavier than he remembered. The boys chuckled, waiting for the funny moment. But something shifted. Leo didn't grin. He didn't show off. He just bounced the ball once, exhaled, and shot. The ball sailed through the air. Not flashy, not rushed, just pure. It sank into the hoop with a clean, perfect swish. No rim, no backboard, nothing but net. The laughter died instantly. Silence filled the gym. Leo didn't react. He just picked up his mop again and started walking away. One of the boys whispered, "Wait, who is he?" But no one had the answer. And that's when Milo, standing quietly near the doorway, stepped into view. "That's my dad," he said softly. "And you just woke up a part of him that never left." Back in college, Leo Santiago was a name whispered with awe. He wasn't just good, he was electric. Coaches saw potential. Scouts circled his name. But when Milo was born, Leo made a choice most wouldn't. He walked away from the court and toward fatherhood. There were no headlines, no farewell game. Just a quiet withdrawal and a life rebuilt from scratch. Over time, people forgot. His name faded. But Leo never resented it. Every diaper changed, every school lunch packed, felt more purposeful than any trophy. And yet, in moments of stillness, the sound of a bouncing basketball haunted him like a heartbeat from a different life. The club kids came from privilege. Expensive trainers, private coaches, Ivy League plans. To them, Leo was part of the background like the vending machine or mop bucket. No one asked his name. No one asked why he paused near the court during practice, eyes lingering on drills he used to master blindfolded. And he never told them. He swept floors, scrubbed bleachers, and vanished before sunset. But talent, like truth, never dies. It waits. Beneath the uniform, Leo's timing remained. His instincts still sharp. All it needed was one shot to wake up. Milo had grown up watching his father give everything. Though Leo never spoke of sacrifice, Milo saw it in missed meals, torn boots, and worn hands. He'd heard rumors once, a neighbor mentioning how good his dad used to be, but Leo always brushed it off. Just old stories, he'd say. Still, Milo wondered. When he heard about the janitor basketball joke at the club, he went to see it for himself. He arrived just in time to see the shot. Swish. The gym froze. Milo didn't smile. He just watched the silence wrap around his father. A silence filled not with shame, but awe. By evening, the video was everywhere. One of the boys had filmed it. Leo's calm stance, the perfect arc, the clean shot. It spread like wildfire. Who is he? Was that luck? He didn't even warm up. Comments flooded in. At the club, staff whispered in break rooms. "You know he used to play? I heard he gave it all up for his kid." Leo never addressed it. He cleaned the same way he always did. But something had changed, the way people looked at him. Not pity, not mockery, but curiosity. And beneath it all, respect. Coach Daniels, head of the club's youth program, approached Leo during his break. "You played." Leo hesitated, then nodded. "A while back." The coach leaned in. "We've got a charity game next month. Players and staff. You in?" Leo chuckled. "You want the janitor on the court?" Daniels smiled. "After that shot? I want you starting." Leo didn't answer right away. He looked across the gym where Milo stood, watching. His son, no longer a boy, but a mirror of his quiet strength. Maybe it was time, not to reclaim the past, but to show Milo something he'd never seen before, his father in his element. That night, Leo sat at the edge of his bed, Milo asleep in the next room. He stared at his old sneakers in the closet corner, cracked at the soles, faded from time. His hands, rough from years of scrubbing floors, now trembled not from fatigue, but from possibility. He hadn't played competitively in nearly 2 decades. He wasn't fast anymore. His knees ached in the cold. But something in him stirred. Not pride, not ego, something quieter. Purpose. He remembered the boys laughing. He remembered the silence after his shot. And more than that, he remembered Milo's face. There was something in his son's eyes that day, a silent pride, the kind that can't be spoken, only felt. Leo looked up at the ceiling, exhaled, and whispered to the empty room, "One more game, not for revenge, not for fame, just for the boy who had always seen him as more than a janitor, and maybe to remind himself that he still was." Every night after his shift ended, Leo stayed behind at the club gym. He didn't ask for time, didn't ask for a coach. He just swept the floors, put the mop away, and picked up a ball. He started with free throws, dozens, then hundreds. Each shot was a conversation with muscle memory, asking it to return, to forgive him for the years of silence. His first few sprints left him gasping, clutching his ribs, but he didn't stop. He pushed through pain, doubt, and the stares of staff who didn't understand what he was chasing. But Milo did. One night, he followed his dad and watched from the bleachers. Leo missed a three-pointer, cursed under his breath, and then saw Milo clapping softly. "Form's still clean," the boy said, smiling. Leo chuckled, breathless. "Old dog's got a little left." "You've got more than that," Milo replied. "You've got everything you never stopped being." From that day on, they trained together, father and son, reclaiming something the world had forgotten. The day of the charity game arrived like a summer storm, loud, buzzing, unpredictable. The club was packed. Families, donors, players, and former athletes filled the bleachers. Leo walked in wearing a borrowed jersey. It wasn't stitched with his name, but it didn't matter. He didn't come to be remembered. He came to be present. The players stretched, joked, passed the ball around. Most of them still didn't take him seriously. A few nods, half smiles, that cool uncle who used to play vibe. But Milo saw the way his dad moved, the way he planted his feet, the way his hands shaped the ball. He saw something they didn't. Coach Daniels called the starting lineup. Leo Santiago, point guard. Murmurs rippled. A janitor? Seriously? Leo just nodded, stepped on the court, and waited for the whistle. The scoreboard buzzed. The game began, and for the first time in years, Leo wasn't cleaning the floor. He was flying above it. The first possession was shaky. Leo passed too fast, misread a screen, and someone scoffed from the bench. But he didn't flinch. He adjusted, watched, waited. The next play, a clean crossover, step back, mid-range jumper. Swish. Silence again. And then cheers. As minutes passed, Leo warmed up. The old instincts returned. His eyes tracked the court like a chessboard. He faked out players half his age, made assists that left jaws hanging. Milo stood courtside, shouting with pride, hands cupped around his mouth. Leo wasn't dominating, he was commanding, with quiet brilliance. The crowd began to shift. Whispered doubts turned into shouts of belief. The janitor wasn't just holding his own, he was leading. On defense, he dove for a loose ball, slid across the hardwood, and tossed a behind-the-back pass that led to a layup. The gym erupted. People who didn't know his name were now chanting it. "Leo! Leo!" He didn't smile. He just breathed. And played. Seconds on the clock. Tie game. One possession left. The ball ended up in Leo's hands, not by design, but by trust. His teammates cleared the lane. The gym quieted, hundreds of eyes fixed on one man. Leo dribbled slowly, guarded tight. The basket looked miles away, but his focus narrowed. One dribble. Two. Crossover. Step back. He rose. Everything slowed. The years fell away. His knees didn't ache. The lights didn't blind. He wasn't a janitor. He wasn't a forgotten name. He was just Leo. The ball left his hands, arced high, and the crowd held its breath. Swish. No rim. No doubt. The buzzer screamed. The gym exploded. Milo ran onto the court, arms flung wide. Leo caught him mid-stride. For that one moment, all the missed opportunities, the years of silence, the hidden pain, they were washed away in the sound of a net snapping clean. A father had just reminded the world and himself who he truly was. After the crowd dispersed and the lights dimmed, Leo and Milo sat alone on the bench. The court, once thunderous, now rested in silence, the kind only felt after something meaningful. Milo looked at his father, eyes still lit with adrenaline and awe. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" he asked quietly. Leo chuckled, wiping sweat from his brow. Because it was never about the game, he said. It was always about you. Milo leaned forward, elbows on his knees, emotion thick in his voice. You were a legend tonight. Leo smiled, tired but full. Nah, just a dad who remembered how to be a little more. That night wasn't about redemption or comeback. It was about connection. A father showing his son that no matter how invisible the world tries to make you, your light can still find its way back. Within days, the video from the charity game exploded online. Not just for the shot, but for the story. Single dad janitor silences country club with one shot, read the headline. But what kept people watching wasn't the basket. It was the reveal of who he was, what he'd sacrificed, and how he carried dignity without recognition for years. Local news stations reached out. Sports blogs wanted interviews. But Leo stayed quiet. He turned down offers, said no to TV appearances. This isn't about fame, he told Coach Daniels. It was just a moment. But that moment did something bigger. High school coaches began checking janitor resumes. Teens started talking to staff differently. And Milo? He started walking a little taller, not because of what the world saw, but because he'd always known who his father really was. Weeks after the game, Milo stepped onto his own court, a local school tryout. He wasn't the tallest or the fastest, but he played with something the coaches hadn't seen in years: heart. His eyes stayed calm, his passes smart, his hustle tireless. Afterward, a scout approached him. You play like someone's watching you. Milo smiled. Someone is. He didn't mean cameras or crowds. He meant the man who taught him how to show up every single day, no matter the arena. Milo made the team, and at every game, Leo sat in the back row. No noise, no fanfare, just presence. The kind that says, I'm here, always have been. The club eventually honored Leo with a framed jersey and a plaque in the hallway, to the man who reminded us why we play. But the real tribute came from something simpler. Coach Daniels offered Leo a part-time coaching role. You've got something these kids need, he said. Leo hesitated, then accepted. He still cleaned floors, but now also shaped futures. The mop and the whistle hung side by side in the locker room. And every evening after practice, he'd stay a little late, just to shoot. Not for glory, for peace, for rhythm, for love. The court that once ignored him had now become the place where he healed and helped others rise too. 1 year later, on the anniversary of the game, Leo and Milo returned to the same court. It was empty, quiet. They shot around, laughing, talking about nothing and everything. Milo asked, You ever wish things had gone differently? Leo paused, looked around, then said, Not for a second. He nodded at his son. If I had taken the spotlight back then, I might have missed raising the greatest kid I know. Milo passed him the ball. Leo caught it, turned, and sank a three, just like before. Nothing but net. This time, no crowd roared. Just a father and son, under quiet lights, walking home together, side by side. Not for a moment, but for life. Leo didn't take that shot to prove anything. He took it because something inside him remembered. A single moment reminded everyone. Even your quietest chapter can hold the loudest miracle. If this story touched you, hit the like button, share it with someone who's been underestimated, and subscribe for more real stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things.